so I feel like we should move on to our final EP for the month of August, Nightlife, and their EP, Fallback.
So I don't remember if it was me or Justin who first sent this to the podcast or like to the group chat or whatever, but I found them through oh God, I don't know if it's Hansel or Hansel, and I'm really sorry. I feel bad. Because he is literally probably the most talented dude in the scene right now, I think overall. And he covered Drink About It by Issues, and yeah, a couple of the members of Issues commented on it, like, oh, this is really good. It was after a couple months after Tyler Carter got kicked out, I believe. And they were all encouraging him to do music, and I think that's when Nightlife came around to be a project. And right off the gate, they sounded incredible, and I think that this, as their first, to me, seems like the first cohesive EP. You know, the other one, the New Low EP, had 3 really good songs on it. The way that these work together is insane.
So good. It's so fucking good.
There's the obvious, and Hansel tweeted it out, and I need to find it, and I'm gonna find it while I talk about the first 2. But the fact that the first 2 transition into one another so well is incredible. I mean, Nightlife type beat by itself is really good, and I think a masterclass in production, as this entire EP is. But the way that it sonically introduces the EP and then subsequently transitions into Fallback is probably one of the best like intro tracks into track 2s I've heard maybe ever.
Yeah. I love Nightlife Type B. I actually wanted to talk about that last month, but since this was releasing so close, we thought might as well just talk about it all as a whole.
Yeah. So,
I love that transition though.
Something else I want to talk about the cohesion is I think Fallback. I've listened to this a couple times. I still can't remember off the top of my head if Fallback transitions directly into Fool Me Once, but Fool Me Once, Hard for Me, and No Pleasure, they're all together as like one song, and it's really, really cool. Hard for Me kind of works as like an interlude between the 2, but with Hard for Me, the introduction, and I'm reading this directly from Hansel Sweet because I didn't notice it, and then once I noticed it, I was like, holy fuck. That the intro to Hard for Me is the ending of Fool Me Once, but tuned down. And it's like sampled. And then the outro of Hard for Me is the sample of the beginning of No Pleasure. And No Pleasure is faster paced than Fool Me Once, and Hard for Me increases from 135 BPM to 145 BPM gradually to bring you from one song to the next.
Fuck.
It's so cool.
Look, so fucking good.
Hansel, his voice is phenomenal, okay? I need to find the name of the guy. Where's the guy? Here he is. Julian Lofton is the guitarist and the bassist for this band.
Beautiful work.
There is not a better bassist in the scene. I'm doubling down on that right now.
No. You know what? I met the bassist of Rain City Drive last night, and I can assure you he's better.
He might be a cooler dude, but he's not pulling this shit off. All right, nobody can... Actually, okay. I feel like I'm pulling the Issues comparison, but Skylar Accord, I think, might be up there too. And if Skylar Accord's number 1, Julian Lofton's number 2, because the groove that this guy manages to pull off throughout this whole EP, and the way that it's that tone on the bass is incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
And the drummer too. What's his name? Isaiah Walker. The rhythm on all of this, everything is driven forward, and it's all brought out so wonderfully by this masterful production that Hansel does. It is this. Look, I get pissed at bands a lot for like, the mixing's off, the production's off, like nerd emoji my way through, like I don't like this song for whatever reason. Not only is this incredible, but it's flawless. And I know that probably, Hansel will go back and listen to this and be like, oh, fuck, I missed this. I would have done this differently. I'm listening to this and I'm ascending. Like, every note has so many nuances and layers to it. There's so much going on here, but it still sounds so cohesive and so good. And the fact that every single track somehow manages to kind of lead into or lead up to the next one And the experimental nature of No Pleasure, too, is just a phenomenal way to close out the album. I was kind of scared that with how good Nightlife Type Beat was with opening it, that No Pleasure wouldn't, necessarily close it out as well, but I think it does. And I think it's an incredible standalone song, works well as the last song on the EP. Fool Me Once is probably my second favorite track on here besides Fallback. Fallback is just unnecessarily a banger.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I've shown that song to so many people.
Man.
If you don't mind me interjecting here.
Yeah, go for it, because I've said most of my piece, but go.
Unfortunately, the last 3 songs fell a bit flat for me, but Nightlife Type Beat into Fallback is incredible. And Fallback is what I wish the Varsity album from earlier this year sounded.
Yes.
Hold on. You have my attention. Let me listen to this.
Have you not heard this, Jacob?
I've listened to it like once.
If you liked the Varsity album, you will adore this. I'm calling it right here. This is my EP of the year.
It's probably going to end up in the top 5 for me. I've got a couple that I think this is sitting at number 3 right now, and I don't see it leaving my top 5.
This is the happiest EP of the year. You've pretty much said most of what I wanted to get into.
I wish I could explain things like Derek.
As I was saying, No Pleasure is my favorite song off the album, or off the EP. Nightlife Type Beat is close second, but
you can't be putting Fallback out of the top 2.
I'm putting it out of the top 3. Thank you. But no,
so disrespectful.
Good.
So
all of these as a whole are just so masterfully well done. It is hard to find talent that is this masterly crafted. I feel like this is what we would.
It's Polyphia levels of group of talented people.
Well, I was about to say, I think this is what we'd get if we got a Paloma album within the next 5 years.
Ooh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Finally, not some of an EP, but yeah, it feels unfair to me to have people this gifted at each of their respective roles in this band. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm pulling the Issues comparison. I think the group, if I had to pick a top 3 groups of people, like bands that are just so talented at what they do, it's in no particular order: Issues, Polyphia, and Nightlife. I mean, just to have this much talent backed by Hansel's ear for production and mixing, and just the vocal layering, the stacks, the little bits, and even if it's only 1 second or half a second of something, every piece of every song, it just creates something so special. With Issues, they're writing music, but when they dropped the debut EP, it filled that issue size hole in my heart, and this really seals the deal that if you're not paying attention to Nightlife, you need to be, because this is a phenomenal EP, and this band is full of phenomenal people who are down to earth as well, from what I've seen on Twitter, and just great people making great music. I can't recommend this enough.
This is not sitting nearly as high in my top EPs of the year because the last 3 tracks did fall a little flat. But Nightlife Type Beat into Fallback had me thinking, oh shit, this might be like top 5 EP of the year contender. Like, I think there's very likely that the follow-up EP to this, or like a follow-up album to this, could be making a run for the end of the year list for whatever category it's in. This Fallback is just an undeniable, just earworm. The R&B influences are fantastic. As I said, it's what I wish Varsity sounded like from earlier this year. Because that album did not hit as much as I was hoping it would.
Be careful what you say here, Jake.